I'm joined by Harry Litman of the Talking Feds Substack and the Talking Feds YouTube channel. Harry, the big Washington Post headline, although we probably saw this coming, is that Donald Trump says he's going to spend his time focusing on retribution within the DOJ with very specific plans to fire special counsel Jack Smith's team, anybody who's been affiliated with that, go after them, and perhaps even start to investigate them. Also, he wants to spend his time in office now relitigating 2020, putting a whole team of DOJ investigators to go back and try to demonstrate that all of those cases that he lost before the various federal courts, that somehow the judges, many of which he appointed, got it wrong. Harry, I look at this in kind of multiple ways. I mean, it's incredibly dangerous, although he did promise retribution. He put Matt Gaetz as his first attorney general pick before Pam Bondi, someone in Matt Gaetz who would execute retribution, and someone whose mere presence at the DOJ would just make everybody at the DOJ just be completely repulsed and maybe just kind of leave in and of itself based on how unqualified he is. And he was someone under DOJ investigation. But I look at it in a different way, though, as well, though, which is like for him to spend all of his time litigating things from 2020, and this is what he wants to do. To some extent, though, if you're looking at this from a half glass full perspective, like that's how he's going to spend his time looking back to 2020 and get bogged down with all of that stuff. So I want to get your perspective on it, Harry, and then we'll go from there.
All right. So I see your point, and in a sense, both feet, the looking for the true killers of 2020 and the firing of people. Yeah, he's like stepping in it with both feet, but still, holy cow, Ben, we knew it was in the realm of possibility, but you see it in black and white. His advisors are saying it. If he's going to follow through, if he is going to arm the Department of Justice to fire career employees who are guaranteed not to be fired. He's buying a automatic several years of litigation that I think he's going to lose, even as the big, executive, whatever, unitary executive theories courts adopt. Look at Andy McCabe. They wound up paying like $700,000. Any career person they go after, it's going to be the same story. But the fact of it, this is Hungary. This is Argentina telling the Department of Justice to use its awesome prosecutorial powers just to make people's lives miserable who have done nothing other than execute their job. And by the way, in a very meritorious setting. I mean, part of this is to argue there was never anything there. That's total bullshit, as we know. I mean, there were crimes committed. So as a lawyer and maybe a DOJ alum, my first instinct is the fuddy-duddy, like this is really, really a 5-alarm fire. I then take your point. He's going to what do we have to hope for now that he has so much political leverage? That he blunders and that he breaks the law and that the people react and the courts react. And sure, as you say, these plans, you can't fire people willy-nilly. And there's a law out there that says even if the law changes, once they have protection, due process protection, the due process clause kicks in. McCabe also made a First Amendment claim that would totally apply here as well. So that's going to be a debacle, I think. And going back to relitigate the 2020 cases that he lost, 60 of 61, really 61 of 61, you're going to have courts react with scorn. You're going to have, hopefully, probably, media papers waking up and say what total wasteful garbage it is. He's committing, in a sense, the DOJ to lies of the sort he told during the campaign. And I got to say, Bondi did a little bit as well. So yes, it could backfire, boomerang against him. But in the first instance that he's doing this, it's just really strong evidence that Trump 2.0, as has looked to be the case over the last couple of weeks. It's in my Substack. Thanks for mentioning it. is, how bad is it? Worse than anyone could imagine. This is just such a loathsome abuse of prosecutorial power.
You know, you talk about Pam Bondi
Yeah.
and what she did. I mean, look, she was the Attorney General of Florida. So, in terms of if you were to look at a kind of check the box, do you
Yeah.
fit the qualifications to be an Attorney General of the United States? Being an Attorney General for 8-9 years in a major state usually would qualify you. That's a big job that she had
Yeah.
before. Subsequently, though, she worked at a lobbying firm, the Ballard firm, and then was on Fox all the time, kind of as a mouthpiece for Donald Trump. We saw her at the impeachment trial in
She
the
was
Senate.
official mouthpiece, right, in 2016. Yeah.
Official mouthpiece. Then she was at the impeachment trial for Donald Trump, and I don't. I mean, just objectively, she did not really make a compelling presentation.
That's
She was
right.
kind of reading off of a page and couldn't really find her notes, and that was a bit surprising because she really just objectively didn't seem prepared for. Like, it was just bad. Like, setting aside the arguments
Yeah.
where she was attacking Hunt, like, she just really bad. Didn't look like a good presentation. But then she did the Pennsylvania thing with Rudy Giuliani, where she was in Philadelphia, immediately kind of spreading election lies. Then she was an early buy-in, but then she kind of pulled a little bit out of it as she kind of saw some of the other tangential directions of where it was going. But she was there from the outset, willing to kind of lie. But what do you make of her? I mean,
yeah, it's a really good point. Look, you're right about the resume. I know people in Florida, you probably do as well. You know, who knows how much to credit it, because I agree on paper. Well, she's got the additional qualification of not being Matt Gaetz, but in general, people are not wowed by her and are kind of snickering at this talking point that the Trump administration to be is advancing of brilliant lawyer, et cetera. But, you know, she's run an office, and that's pretty important. What's troublesome is the other side of things. You pretty well cataloged them, Ben, but here's somebody who in 2016 gleefully at a political event said, lock her up. I like that, as to Hillary Clinton. You know, as I do each of these, imagine the thought experiment where Merrick Garland does it. You just can't imagine. She lied in Pennsylvania. She said, we won, when they lost, and there was no basis for thinking she had won. As a lawyer, that's serious. As an attorney general, that's serious. And then she personally solicited the 25 grand contribution from Trump and wound up not going forward on a pretty solid case. The not-for-profit college that Trump had to pay $25 million on. She took a pass on that and went for another for-profit college. So we've got pretty strong evidence that this is the kind of sycophant that history has told us you do not want, but you especially don't want when the president has already made clear, including tonight, that he's going to abuse power, and the AG isn't going to be there to stand up. She's chosen this way, as even Bill Barr did say in the first term, and say, you may not do that, Mr. President. She's probably going to cave. Now, is that the sort of thing that this 53-47 Republican Senate will say that worries us and we're going to not confirm her? No, I think she's likely to be confirmed. But these are big warning signs, and I think they could, play out in the future in some pretty damn troubling ways.
There are going to be confirmation hearings, though. It seems that the Senate's at least put their foot down in the sense of they're not doing this recess.
That's why Gaetz got out of there, by the way. That was, I think. I'm sorry.
I think Gaetz was hoping that there would be no hearings.
Exactly.
And by the way, I mean, whether we want to say like the Collins and the Murkowskis and the McConnells, they may have very well voted for Gaetz in the long run. Who knows? But I think they were putting their foot down and saying, we're not going to agree to a recess process. We're going to make sure that we hold a hearing. And
Corwin too.
I'm just not going to be able to sit there as they
for that. Yeah.
And so when we talk about Hegseth, when we talk about Tulsi, when we talk about Pam Bondi, when we talk about, RFK, there's going to be confirmation hearings with these individuals where the American people are going to, I mean, we're going to have tough people asking him. You're going to have Congressmember Adam Schiff, who a former prosecutor out here in California is going to be asking them questions. Yeah. And a lot of these unqualified, inexperienced, I mean, people are going to see a lot of stuff early on that's going to, I think, be shocking to people, even if they know it already, when they start to play the RFK Jr. tapes of him saying water makes you gay, or, and all of these things that are going to happen, huh?
Yeah, it's true. Although, will people be paying attention at this point? Who knows? But at least this is sort of what I see as my job, and maybe you do the same. We're here to be kind of canaries in the coal mine. And guys, look what they're saying, and look what this could lead to. And, democracies are not invulnerable. So, yeah, I think it'll seem like kind of legal, business, C-SPAN kind of stuff. But in fact, given that it's Trump and given that it's Project 2025, what it really is the legal garb, the dressing on a potential real, decline and degradation of constitutional norms and the rule of law. It seems like really serious stuff to me, generally.
Yeah, I think it's our role, and this is one of the reasons I know you started your Substack Talking Feds, is because we have to take that beyond the dry C-SPAN. These are hearings, and bring it in front of the American people so they're aware. For them, Donald Trump just says that on the campaign. He's not really going to do these things. Okay, well, here they are. Here are the people making life and death decisions over you. And so I see that as our job. Make sure you all subscribe to Harry Litman's Talking Feds YouTube channel. It's great. And also make sure you subscribe to the Substack Talking Feds. Harry, thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Everyone hit subscribe here as well.
Real quick, Meta just changed their algorithm to suppress political content. Please follow our Instagram at MeidasTouch right now as we head towards 400,000 followers so you don't miss a beat.